Okay, audio synchronization. Let's see if we're alive. See how long it's going to take for people to turn up. Give me a chance to make sure I haven't left too many things floating around on the desk. Throw some rubbish out. Check my phone. Not a millionaire yet. Better get back to work. Oh well. So much for that dream. Yep, looks like we've got people. Morning all. Just clean up my flux tube. I have a bad habit of leaving it and it makes contact with other blobs of flux on the desk and the tube gets all sticky. Yeah, it just gets out of control there. Okay, that's better. Hey, Cody Leatherman. Haven't seen you around before, I don't think. Maybe I have, and I've just got brain fart. Hey Corey, got the same thing, eh? Pratio. Let's see. Peter, Boulder, Colorado. Greg, Sanity. You never get your sanity back. Hey Thunderbird, Sam Davis. Mr. Hook. Yeah, Physio. Oh, okay. You watch but you can't listen. Oh, that's annoying. Alright, so let's get to the machine. Let's go to the overhead. Okay. Does it even turn on? Power. I think it must, given how long that took, I'm going to say it's a 3437. Oops, right. Customer information. Okay. What was that current? We just got a weak battery here. I noticed that restarted itself after I took the MagSafe out. Kind of feels like a weak battery. Half of me wants it to be a weak battery. The other half of me most definitely does not want it to be a weak battery because I want to have something to repair. Because if it's a weak battery, then that's just a battery replacement. And I certainly don't get a lot of money out of that. Hey Gary Manning, whereabouts are you in the world? Hey Kenny Whittam. Yeah, it's a 165. Alright, they didn't pick that. I genuinely thought by the amount of time it took, it was a 3437. But maybe it's a case that the battery has absolutely no power in it. That it was just a case of when I plugged it in, it fired up. Well, let's just disassemble it anyway and give it a check over. Northern Rivers, nice and wet. Northern Rivers. Not sure where Northern Rivers is. Is that in Australia? What state? Hey, Mr. Don. Who's not Mr. Don? Came back 2 weeks later. Ah, nasty. Hate that. I mean, I'd be very surprised if it was, given that it looks quite good in condition. But you never know. Put a sticker on it so we don't lose it. I mean, there probably is something amiss, because I'm sure they had it powered when they were testing it. Yeah, just to see if it was a battery. I'm sure a battery would have been the first thing they thought of. Greg, I haven't seen the video, but I know of the purple device. I haven't had a chance to really look and see if it's anything that I can make use of. I see there were people squawking though about all the attention it's receiving, worried that Apple will then patch or fix the exploit that it's using. But as far as I know, it's not really patchable because it's hardware. And furthermore, it really doesn't matter whether we announce it or not. I'm sure there's plenty of people at Apple who spend their days going through the internet looking for all the latest exploits so that they can, fix them up or block us, as it were. So I don't think the public activity really would have any bearing on whether it gets fixed or not. Oh, he's working on a pro device. Okay, sounds like me. Get something working and then decides, I'm gonna make some money out of that. You gotta do it that way. Unless you wanna get old and be on the pension and have no other options, and then have to rely on discounts and generosity of other people. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I'm just saying if you don't want to have to deal with that scenario, then you kind of have to be a little bit more profiteering when you're younger and doing your job. Hey, Sudi. I have had a couple of clients that try to pull the old I'm old and poor trick on me, or just that I'm old. And I look at their car and I look at what I know about them, look at the way they're dressed and everything like that, and I'm thinking, no, you're not. You're just using that as that's the way you get your discounts to make it so that you can live the luxury life that you seem to be living. It's like, I'm not going to fall for that. There are some people, you can usually genuinely tell when some people are, on hard times. Usually. This could be fun and games. Certainly can't see anything. Nothing showed up on the backside either. That's a problem. Northern Rivers, New South Wales, near Byron Bay. Oh, okay. Yep. I get quite a few jobs up from Byron Bay. Hey, you user. Okay, let us hope and pray that we do have something that can attribute to this behavior. There's a little bit of surface corrosion there, so we've got hope. That obviously isn't really going to do anything, that's just on the ground plane. So we're looking for something that's marginal, intermittent. Yeah, this is going to be fun. G'day Jason, how's it going? I sent you an email this morning, by the way. The sort of email you don't want to get. Oh, this is going to be fun. could even be something as... It could even be something like a keyboard fault, or trackpad fault, cable fault. If I can't find anything on here, I'm gonna have to start looking at the rest of the chassis. And yeah, there's bits of trash around, but it's nothing really to write home about. Oh, thanks, Jason. Right, appreciate it, as always. Looks like I'll be celebrating and having noodles tonight. Noodles and ice cream. Maybe I should blend them together. Yeah, needle in a haystack time for sure. Not the kind of stuff you want, really. Yeah, nothing jumping out at me there. That's problematic. Alright, let's have a look at other things we've got. Let's look at the state of the battery connector. It seems okay. Could be a keyboard fault. Could be DC inboard issue. Hey James Emmy. Yep, that's good. That looks clean. These really are a tech's worst nightmare. The perfectly clean MacBook. The no hint horrors. Oh, Travis, also I think Harold's updated the website, the guide, so it uses the new shorter path trace that was available. So for the 2015 now you only have one long trace and the other one's quite short. The 17 inch unfortunately still is a long pair of traces. So look at the DC inboard. Hey Jacob Anderson. Oh, this is really not proving to be much fun at all. I have my doubts, but we can have a look under here. This is where, if you ever lose audio on your MacBook Airs... Oh man, I just knocked that little lock tab off. Anyway, if you lose audio on your MacBook Airs, just check under here. Yeah, see, this is why you check. So we had a couple of ants that decided to come in through the little hole on the back of the 3.5. But in this case we don't have any damage. But what you can find sometimes is that these caps here are corroded out and they'll kill your audio. Sorry dudes. No Jurassic Park recovery for you guys. And given the cost of replacement DCM boards, I think people are starting to actually take the time to look at them. And not mock you when you repair them. Okay, I gotta sneeze. Well, that was a bit of ultrasonic cleaning of the microphone. Did you get any rain? No. I think we saw some spits and that was about it. But no, nothing what you could call real rain. But I see there's plenty coming up on the southeast. Or at least seems to be. Okay, that's fixed. Hey Chris, how's it going? Alright, let's try to remove some more things, have another look around. If it wasn't such a clean board, I think maybe someone had worked on it and changed the BIOS and we're having a ME region issue, but I'm definitely not thinking that's the case. Fixing XRs with liquid damage, I enjoy that, yeah. Okay, time to check this thing on the edge. So we've just got that little tiny spot there but of kryptonite and that's about it. So we're kind of hoping we will have something vaguely similar. Otherwise these boards can fast become the sort of board that seems to be in pristine condition but you end up having to put into the donor pile simply because you can't prove it one way or another. It's frustrating. There isn't even a reasonable level of corrosion in the ports for me to blame. How annoying. Even the J tag's fine. At this point I guess we have to take the boring option, reassemble it, at least sufficiently, and then sit back and watch it do its thingamajig. Who do you use, or do you know how to use the ME region stuff? Have an Air with a messed up ME region, very, very slow after boot. Send Peonov a message. I do have the files to do it, I do have the guides, so I'll see if I can find the guides for you and send you a copy. It's not overly complex, it's just a case of making sure you do follow the right steps. And of course you already would have a BIOS programmer or a flash programmer. Wow. This is... Get in there. Well, it's annoying when some days you just can't seem to jam it in. Hey Adrienne, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a 165 board. You burnt the heck out of your fingertip taking off a flood illuminator. Ah. So what, you did the temperature test like iPad Rehab's Mark did. Wasn't he being mocked for a bit there a year or two ago about how he would use his finger as a temperature tester? Something to that effect. Actually, you know what? I'll put it in a different chassis. Just to eliminate that aspect. So we come on downtown to Paul Shonky Repairs. Trashy chassis centre. Where's my crossover flex? Hey Corey. I'll tell you what, if you can make one of these flexes that works with 1502s and 1398s, then that's good. Because obviously the 1466 is fine, but it's got the lower screen clock frequency, so it's that obviously works across the extended distance. I'd imagine for a 1398 and 1502, you're probably going to have to go about half length. But I mean, even if you can go like 4 inch, 10 centimeters, it's going to still be useful. Just gives you enough to get the board out of the chassis. Alright. Plug that in. Whoa. Battery's free falling. If I let it free fall, it'll be learning to fly. Okay. Oh, geez, Chris. Already in with the 14-year-old. Yep. miss the days of simple battery installations. No compelling reason really to not have them. I noticed that on the 1502s, when you take those little plastic bullets out, that there are there are actually screw holes on the chassis for the frame. So you can take the bullets out and screw the battery in. Yeah, what the heck's going on here? Oh, that's right, I'm booting. Yeah. There we go. Oops, no, that is the one we want. Still, I've got the technique for getting packs out now, and I'm actually waiting on some more of the wax thread to arrive, because I found the wax thread that I've got, that green spool, is actually, let's see, where is it? Here it is. I've already gone through a fair bit of it. Mark, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. This stuff here, this is the green one that I've had originally. That's a 1mm diameter, they call it. Anyway. I've ordered some 0.6 and 0.8mm diameter stuff as well, to see if it is any easier in cutting through or whether it just snaps. And that'll be here soon enough. Okay, so we've got 64%. I really should be testing their battery later, but... So what we're going to wait for here is to see if the board will shut down on its own. Now, if it shuts down, then we know that we have indeed got a board issue. If it doesn't shut down, then, well, we've got something wrong with their chassis. And I'd probably err back towards it being their battery. Okay. Check our thermals. Let's run some valley test, just to make things nice and warm on this already warm supposed winter's day. Winter up here is a complete joke. Frame rate's really good. 34, 35 frames per second. That's actually blimmin' good out of this sort of machine. Must be on ultra low or something. Quality? No, it's on medium. Wow, that's impressive. Nearly 30 frames per second on medium. That is actually really good. Yeah, Chris, the string is for cutting batteries out of 1502s, 1398s, well, any of the machines where they've glued them in. Adelaide's freezing at the moment. Poor Adelaide. Freezes in winter and burns in summer. So I've got the worst of everything. Tried the same, works fine, USB drive, not her SSD. Ran Valley for 2 days. Oh, brutal. That's really annoying when that happens. To be fair, this is a Samsung drive, so it is entirely plausible that it could be the SSD. I do have a USB adapter for this, so I can actually put it on to my Linux recovery server and thrash it and see if it comes up with any errors. Let's see. I'll just turn that off. There's a bit of a glare off the screen. Being a 165, this will be 2014 or 15, I guess. Just realised I need to update my job details because I don't have the board number in there. What? Oh, nice. Forgotten my own password. Blimey heck. Harry. Alright, that is weird. It is weird that Chrome should be remembering my passwords and yet it doesn't. It's like Chrome hasn't synchronized or something. Okay, so this is 820 W165 update. Okay, we should now update. Boo, someone isn't running the... Okay. Ah, not this stuff again. Hello. Try that now. That's better. Alright. Alexei, the problem is I'm finding directly from Amtech, it's still going to cost close to $35–40 a tube Australian. So it's kind of absurd, and that's with buying a dozen of them, and that's using cheap shipping rates. This thing still hasn't conked out. That's frustrating. So maybe it is a battery issue. It'd still be weird. Hey Margarita, to see you there. Of course, running Valley does not always induce these kind of faults. Sometimes the fault can be because of the transitions between the different power states. At least this does, though, confirm that things do appear to be running on the board okay. The 30 milliliter ones are, yes. What doesn't help is, you see, when I bring them in, you have to pay twice the shipping, basically, because you're paying for me to get them shipped. So you're paying the Australia-US shipping cost, and then you're going to have to pay more shipping to go from me to you in Australia. Has CPU usage issues, but no crashing. How do you mean by CPU usage issues? Now, Mark, no, fortunately Lewis isn't around, so can't be blaming him. Likewise, the Nell is not around, so can't be blaming him. What it was is that I rebooted my machine, so I changed back from the Unity fancy desktop on Ubuntu back to my Fluxbox minimalism system. Okay, fan, you're gonna... Did that just do it? That just killed it. It just died. Yep. Interesting. It's... What's even more interesting... Okay, it's still charging. 826 milliamp. But yeah, that definitely died. Interestingly... Ooh, this is interesting. It's pulsing. I don't know if you can see it or not, but... There, you can. See how the LED... That's the power LED. It's flickering. That's really interesting. We've got ourselves a live one. It's time to put the chipmunk in and see what it says. Chipmunk says it's not sensing anything. That is actually extra weird. DCM board shows nothing. Okay. And that is definitely wow. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm saying wow and interesting and all that sort of stuff, but chipmunk is definitely showing nothing. That's whacked. The only possibility is the chipmunk runs strictly on USB 2, whereas this is a USB 3 connector, and so it could be getting power through USB 3 but not through 2. Let's see. It's not showing anything now. Interesting. Stupid Yoda. Okay, I just noticed something else, that the MagSafe just flicked from green back to orange. Much confusion. Well, I'll check those things in a bit. But first I want to give it another run with the chipmunk and the USB and the boot drive in there, and I want to see if the chipmunk does indeed stop powering, but the USB power still stays on for the USB 3 device. So let's fire up again. See if it actually does fire up. Yeah, it does straight away. Oh wait, no. I pressed the button, it ran the fan for a short spot, and then it died. This is quite peculiar. Hey Rob Brown, how's it going? Yeah, it is interesting, Sam. It's like a complete reset every time. That ramping up is with the charge controller. It just sort of slowly approaches the chip and increases the charge rate. So we could indeed have a charge controller fault, like an ISL fault. Okay, let's see if this does this without the battery connected. Yeah, a slow ramp is actually normal for the charge. Oh, whoops, better hold the option key. Do I have chickens on this spot of land? No, I don't. No. I used to have quail, but I don't anymore. For the one on my bench, SMC reset allows it to boot. Well, this boots seemingly normally once you power cycle it. Doing a kid's tablet FRP bypass. What's FRP? I know I'm sounding dumb, but I can't be a genius in everything. God damn. Oh, factory reset predict. Right. Okay. Thank you. You people and your crazy tablets and phones. It ain't natural. What I'm looking for in this instance is I'm going to be watching the chipmunk and seeing if the 5 volt illumination drops out before the power drops out. What was also interesting is that it didn't really seem to do that while it was under load. So we could have a switch mode controller issue where there's a fault in the switch mode controller and it can't transition between the different modes of switch moding, i.e. sort of like continuous mode versus non-continuous. Or it could be a bad cap. But I haven't pulled the board out yet because I want to get more diagnostic information. I want to get more things that sort of like indicate to me what might be going on. Okay, why haven't you come? You've been a bit slower today. It is still running. Hey Pedro, how's your day of going around and conning people out of their MacBooks going? CPU sense issue? Yeah, I'd probably go for something like that too, Chris, yeah. Okay, it just crapped its pants again. Sorry, that's not a very technical term, but yeah, did a full cycle. Interesting. What was also interesting is that the 5 volt and the power were in sync with the illumination of the chipmunk. So it's not that we've got a weak line or under voltage situation. We've got something that just categorically dies, but it does die consistently. Interesting. And we're back. I'm not doing anything and it's trying to boot itself up. Yeah, and down it goes again. Alright. Time to check the sensors. There's certainly a lot of things that could be. Boys. The fact that I can't even talk properly is probably one of them. Yeah. But at least we've now been able to certify that I'm clinically insane. And we've also been able to certify that it is the board at fault and not some chassis issue. Because we're not using any component other than the main board from the original device. So it's good to know that. Good to know, well, actually there is one. There's that. But I'd be very surprised if there was a Wi-Fi chip. Probably should have left that off. Vote for small amount of corrosion to be found where, Chris? Where? Don't be useless. I mean, what? You may as well. What are you going to tell me next? I vote that there's going to be a fault on the board. So, bravo. The sort of quality diagnosis we expect from Chris Long. Be sure to send all your iPhone devices to Chris Long for quality diagnosis. Yes, well, telling me that doesn't help me find it. Anyway, we'll keep looking. Bunch of whining prats. This is probably the sort of thing that ultrasonic will clean up better than I will. I mean, yeah, I've had that sort of thing. Like a couple of weeks ago, we had a board that looked almost pristine, and I had that tiny smidge of corrosion on the edge side of the SMC, and you couldn't see it from above, but as soon as you turned to the side, you could see that beautiful smudge of beautiful crystals of kryptonite coming out the side. Go ahead and give it a flip. Flip what? You can't. Hey, Defcom. You can't talk in shorthand, Chris. I'm not that smart. Come on. We'll measure the resistance of the ISL at least, even though that's not the CPU sense, but 20 is good. .324 is normal. Kratos, it's just a normal 1080, but it is a Sony sensor. So it tends to, providing the encoding isn't being botched up by YouTube, it does tend to come up a lot nicer. Okay, there's a tiny bit of discoloration over here, and I'm talking tiny. We've got a little bit of, see here, see it doesn't have the sheen of that, but there's something else going on here. It's just ever so slight. Probably nothing, but yeah, you definitely get what you pay for when it comes to the cameras. Yeah, they all look perfect. Okay, could be a PCH 105. I've had that fail before, just randomly. I bet you this area here would be a culprit, just simply due to the dust in general. I do wish I had a nice Magewell encoder card, because then I could at least take the output of this camera at 60 frames per second. Because right now it's being butchered down by the USB interface. The camera is HDMI, but it does give you the option of the USB output, which is why I bought it, because I didn't yet have an HDMI capture card. I mean, it's like $1,000 for a good one. Nikita, the only camera I've ever tried is this Sony one that I'm using. It's in my link of repair items that I use. This better not be something like a blooming cracked ball under the CPU. That would just really annoy me today. Unfortunately, you can generally confirm that by just heating up the area around the CPU and seeing if you get a significant change in behavior. Yeah, that's yeah, we spotted that earlier, Chris. And that's why I was looking around for more corrosion, because I thought, well, okay, we've got some here, but nothing much else anywhere else. And so that kind of it did throw me, because I was like, well, there should be more. And I checked the inside of these connectors and nothing. So yeah, I push the chips when it's fouling, see if the voltage changes. Just had to drop the seat so that I didn't crush my liver. That's it. Would be very not surprised if putting this through the ultrasonic fixed it, but then I'm not sure I could live with that, on the grounds of the fact that, what's to say that all I did is just knocked off the preliminary layer of trash, but it's going to grow back, or the chip is slightly faulty, things like that. Yeah, J Abbott, it is pretty good, but there's definitely some loss of crispness in going down to USB. And also, like I said, I don't get the 60 frames per second. I would like to ultimately change everything up so that I do get 1440, 60 frames per second, something like that. I'm gonna have to zoom in a bit more now, I think. The capacitor looks a little, it's just, that's on the clock, one of them. I'm freehanding this, so apologies if it sort of jumps around a bit. Hey, Micromage. You talking about Dave Jones? Is he doing a live? See, often you get crap under this little chip here, but nothing there today. If Dave Jones is doing live and you're on chat, say hi. you'll have a momentary moment of not remembering who I am, and then you'll go, oh yeah, I remember. Yep. Yeah, that's right, Chris, but you know, I just don't like that sort of solution. I don't like not knowing where it was. Furthermore, then, no matter how much you test it, you're always forever wondering. But it's certainly not like we're going to wash away any substantial hints because we don't have any. That's it. You can see that. You can see it, can't you? That slight discoloration there. I think I might just take that chip off and have a look. Because it's definitely like it vented. And I don't see that anywhere else. So it's like it had an event there, or something brushed it. Oops, now my seat's way too low. Chris, that iPhone doesn't work anymore because you touched it. That's why. It's not because of the short. Nothing like that. You're just making up crap. Nah. Yeah. Well, bravo, OBS. OBS completely getting everything wrong there. Resistor to the right also looks a bit funny. Yeah. I think it could be just a paranoia there. It really doesn't seem to have any defects. There's the normal laser cut marks on it. That's about it. Anyway. Just give me a mo. Okay. Alright, that's better. Okay, let's have a look at what that part is. There we go, U8020 I'd say it is. 3v3 sus switch, yep. So we just change that and find out what the heck's going on. There's a tiny solder ball to the right of the cap on the upper left side. Yeah, I see that. That looks more like a normal... That looks like a normal manufacturing type blob. These are actually surprisingly problematic to get off the board because it's right underneath the CPU, so there's a tremendous amount of thermal sinking going on. There we go. I actually slid that sucker clean off. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, let's flip this over, see if we've got any indication of... There's nothing there. I'll clean up those pads, see if anything shows up, but it is still strange though that we had that wispiness. Check the edge. Yeah, it's true. I was mainly looking on the bottom entirely because it looked like it came from underneath. No, that's just a spot of hair, I think. That little dark spot there, I think that's just a spot of junk. No, we'll just replace it. I'll put that aside, but we'll just replace it. I mean, we were going to replace it anyway, but I mean... I don't think we're going to find anything like a smoking gun on it, so... yeah. Am I a pilot? No, the only thing I've ever piloted model aircraft. But I'm more of a designer than I am a pilot. I sort of test fly my designs. If they work, great. Then that's pretty much the end of it for me. I don't bother doing much else. There's only been really one model aircraft that I've continued to fly even after I've sort of proven it to do what I want, and that was my discus launch gliders. But beyond that, pretty much every other design I've put out there is sort of like, got it working, great, move on to the next. And let other people enjoy building and flying them. The worst part about these damn chips, reballing them. Get my reballing gear off the iPhone. Oh, okay, where is my iPhone SMC stuff? I mean, not SMC, stencils. That is a nice thing about, even if you don't, oh crap. Even if you don't fix iPhones, you should get iPhone stencils, because a lot of the time they will have a pitch and size that you need to reball certain MacBook chips. Okay. And these are, what are they? I think the Qilin 3D ones. Ooh. Sadly, I do not know how to say any of those logographs. I'm disappointed in myself. 3 months of learning Chinese and I still can't work out most of this stuff. I should know that. I should know that. I want to say that's Chong, but I'm pretty sure it's not. And this here is a variant of Ren. Yeah, anyway. No one's here for that. I tend to agree with you, JP, but I mean, I'd like to be able to at least read. Unfortunately, at least, that is, other than the fact that I just failed miserably then, that is my strongest area with learning at the moment, is the reading part. There we go. That's perfectly good. Which reminds me that I have got a spatula around here which has got old solder paste crusted on it, and I've been letting it float around on the bench top. Ah, that is so naughty. Way to go for lead poisoning. Hey Phuket. Well, at least it'll be dried out a bit. Yep, that's some seriously dry paste. Man, these things are so small you could almost count the number of balls and paste that you put in there. Alright, I think I've overdone it there, but let's roll with that. They see me rolling on my front lawn, 'cause I'm white and nerdy. Someone's got the temperature up too high, but that's life. Hey Prater. Did those tweezers turn up? Nope, nothing yet. And looks like Chris Long is on the ball. Very quick there. Good job, sir. It's kind of crazy that Weird Al, his parodies outlive the originals. Gangster's Paradise or whatever is it, Amish Paradise. That's pretty cool. And I reckon one of his more impressive ones is what is it called? All About the Pentiums. It could have stood on its own. He didn't have to make that a parody. To be fair, I'm not sure who he's actually doing the parody of. Yeah, the guy's got talent for sure. It's all about the Benjamins. I don't know. I'll have to have a look at that one. But certainly the lyrics and everything like that of All About the Pentiums, it's pretty damn good. Still pretty relevant too. Now I'm going to have to look up All About the Benjamins later. God, I hate doing these small chips. Until they get to around about 4x4 or 5x5, doing small BGAs is a major pain in the butt. What's on the Australian $100 bill? The number's 100. I don't know. Australians don't do that kind of stuff. We're not patriotic in that way. But the best we can probably do is tell you that there's a echidna on the 5 cent. Yep, that's pretty much it. There's random people on the note. Yep, Australians. We're not patriotic. Hell, most of us don't even know our national anthem. Most of us just hum our way through it and hope that other people know it. Well, the only thing we really know is we are young and free, and that's about it. And what is it? Golden soil or something, a land for toil. And after that bit, it's yeah. Cyndi Lauper and Weird Al. Oh yeah, that would be something. Yeah, she did some pretty good stuff. I've seen some people do covers of her music, and it's just not the same. Not the same without that crazy Cyndi. Yeah, I suppose I better put the heatsink back on. I guess she did that movie of Jeff Goldblum. What was that called? Vibes or something, I think it was. It was a damn long time ago now. Oh, Olivia Newton-John. Sweet Olivia Newton-John. I, like most boys of that era, was very much into her, at least until she turned into that crazy perm head, smoking black leotard lunatic at the park in Greece. After that, she was every boy's next door dream, and then she turned into a nightmare. But then she redeemed herself because she did Xanadu, and everybody was back into her Xanadu. Xanadu, it's yeah, anyway, Paul should not sing. Paul is not qualified to sing. Paul causes international trauma with his singing. You want to put an end to a protest? Give me a megaphone. I'll start singing. I'll probably create a new protest, but at least it will bring the two opposing sides together to collectively defeat the new great enemy, which will be my singing. That is how you bring the world together. New national treasure, Margot Robbie. Yeah. Don't forget the Irwins. They're our supposed royal family. And then of course we've got Hugh Jackman and the Hemsworth brothers. Come on. Lean over. Man, that was hard work. But in life, yes, if you want two opposing sides to come together, you really do have to find a greater enemy. So honestly, the state of the world at this point, we probably need to be invaded by some belligerent aliens, and then we'll get Jeff Goldblum and what's his name, Will Smith. They'll save the world again. Ned Kelly, he's sort of a hero for other people, not me. I understand, but anyway. He's not my kind of hero. Each to their own. That's what's important. Okay, Chris, good luck. Well, we're about to fire up, so hopefully we have some success. Battery. Battery in. I'm just going to plug in my test drive again, because we know at least it will fail even if that's in use, because well, obviously I don't have their solid state drive in there. Okay, booting. I better put the chipmunk in too. What is the chip name in Boardview? TPS 22924. If you look up U8020 on the 165 board, it's a 3v3 sus switch. JEvit, I actually don't know. I kind of think it is in some places. I can't recall. Not something I've actually ever looked up. Sorry. If it is, it's definitely going to be in ACT, which is Australian Capital Territory, which is where Canberra is, which is where all our politicians are. So naturally such things are going to be permitted in a state like that. Yeah, the Canadian polymer dollar is using the technology that the Australian one came up with. Yeah, US money is made out of linen. Hey Pedro, you back? As far as I know, it's linen. Or is it linen or denim? Might be denim. Anyway, the Australians have polymer money, and it's pretty good. The nice thing is, it doesn't take long to dry off, because I've been laundering a lot of money lately. Because obviously as people come in with cash, I take it, and then I go straight to the wash basin, and I throw it in hot water and detergent, things like that, and let it sit there for a while to kill off the coronavirus. Hey Christopher, well, booting wasn't the problem before, so we're now just going to see if it just shuts down. All we can do is sit and wait, really. I'm not going to do the Mr. Rossman overzealous die corona die thingy. Really, seriously, talk about a cheap attempt at getting some drama. Expected better from Lewis. Okay, we just gotta wait. Not much else we can do. Hey, Ron Rogers, Missouri, 36 Fahrenheit. Oh, God, what is that? That's about, let's see, minus 32, 6.5, so that's about 15 degrees centigrade. Gary, your 1466, is that the one, that the broken fan connector? Sorry if my brain has not correctly remembered that. Look at your $50 notes. It should say Governor Reserve Bank of Australia. The fakes are Secretary of the Treasury, which is American, came out of China. Huh. Well, fortunately the bank hasn't rejected any of my 50s lately, so yeah. 1 out of 10. Huh. Could be your region too. What? Kid on the way? What? Lewis has a child on the way? Surely you just... He said he wasn't going to do that. No, die. I will say die to animal abusers, definitely. They can die. Slowly, painfully. Dipped in acid. And then salt. And then acid. And then salt. And then sandpaper. He said on a stream the other day, you sure he wasn't, just mocking the world? Can't tell with Lewis. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to take. I guess this is going to be one of those things where what you do is you keep the camera running. Like, you know, when the stream's ended, I keep the cameras recording. And you have something on the screen that does not auto start, so that you don't get caught out with an automatic reboot, bringing you back to where you were. So we'll leave the graph here, and then while the camera's recording it, I'll also at least get some data. What is interesting is that it's actually posting the temperatures are a little bit higher there, about 90. Now I know Mac's run, oh I know why it is. It's doing that because I took the heatsink off, but I didn't put back, I didn't redo the thermal transfer compound. So yeah, it's normal that it's going to be posting a bit of heat there. She was getting heavier. She might just be because of lifestyle. Let's see, Christian Loyola. How much MacBook you are fixed in your life? I don't know, not too many. Maybe only about 100 or 2, I'd say. ARM CPU Macs are coming up. I don't know if we'll see that as on their top end stuff. I suspect what we're going to instead see is that they will take an iPad with keyboard and maybe just put it into a chassis and classify it then as a MacBook Lite or something like that. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll call it a MacBook Air LT or something like that, or SE. Because for as good as the ARMs are, and they are really getting good these days, especially with Apple's modifications of them, expansion of the engineering, they still don't have the capability of handling the multi-process world of a typical x86 type operating system, or just a typical general purpose operating system like Mac OS. If a single process or a very limited number of processors, threads, forks, whatever you want, then they can do things quite nicely. But when you get up into the bigger scale of things, then they do start to actually have inferior efficiency per watt to what an x86, modern x86 can do. I think they're house hunting because Lewis has wanted a house for a while. I don't know. It sounds kind of speculative. I mean, maybe it's true, but for now, I'll consider it speculative. How are your touch sensors coming? I'm waiting on my very fine wires to turn up. I was trying to get some multi-core 32 gauge or 30 gauge wire, but I think I might end up also ordering some 3 or 4 core ultralight microphone cable, kind of like the stuff that I've got for this, and using that. Yeah, so far this has not shut down, but I am wondering whether maybe the heat from the CPU, because it's not getting it heat taken away as well, could be influencing it. Mind you, we are down now to our 40s. But so far with me yambling on, it's doing okay. But I think I will shut it down, redo the heat sink paste, even though I'm going to be ultrasonicing this, just to eliminate that variable. .2 MV, 1. What? Well, yeah, they are moving to an ARM-based system on chip. That's not denied, but I'm just thinking it's not going to be something that will replace the x86s. It may eat into their lowest range, but I don't know of any ARM chip, no matter how good, like iPhone 11 or whatever, that can beat the pants off an even an i3, maybe an i5. Not for general purpose stuff, and that's what the key is: general purpose use. Well, you can throw more cores at it, but that does have a diminishing returns. Sometimes you just need good high performance single core performance with efficient or high performance switching capability. Certainly for the low end, yeah, the ARM systems are very good, but you try to push up the scale, start eating into the x86 market, you do find it doesn't pan out quite as well. So yeah, I suspect they're just going to bring out something like a MacBook Air Lite, which is kind of a funny name, but that's my theory on where it will go. Not sure how they would actually financially market it though, because your iPads are already fairly expensive, and then your MacBook Airs, so maybe they'll go for something like a $900 device. I don't know. But then they're also going to have to deal with, are they going to make it an iOS device or are they going to make it a macOS device? And how are they going to handle applications that are already pre-compiled for macOS? Are they going to try and stick a virtualization layer on there, a translation layer? In which case then they're really going to suck if they're on the ARMs. Because virtualization just, you need a lot more grunt for that. Or are they going to make the developers then have to do a recompile? It just doesn't quite fit properly. That's the problem. Yeah, well, I mean, when they transitioned, you see, that's the thing is, though, they did a wholesale transition from PowerPC, as opposed to incremental consumption, incremental sort of like growth, because they're definitely not going to ditch things like the i7, i5, or any of the latest Intel offerings for an ARM. That would truly, absolutely decimate themselves. They'd have absolutely no performance whatsoever. You're not going to run Photoshop or top-end video editing on those chips. It just won't happen. Not currently, anyway. And for every advance that the ARMs may make, you'll probably find that Intel and AMD are already making similar advancements, be it through a fabrication process, like a FinFET versions or something like that, or actual the lithographic downscaling to whatever nanometer size they're going to pretend they've got these days. Five nanometer for the A14. So like I said, I think they can make a pretty decent iOS-based laptop replacement that sort of bridges between the iPad and the MacBook Air. But I really don't see them eating into the existing MacBook Pro or MacBook market in terms of actually replacing product lines. The performance just is not there. They may add some ARMs as supplemental chips for doing some other processing, like maybe more dedicated decoding or encoding, but not as a general wholesale replacement. Oh, well, I mean, by all means, I guess we'll see in a couple of years how it pans out. But based on my personal view, obviously because I'm saying it, I don't think there's going to be a wholesale replacement. The performance is just not there. MacPad, there you go. Rob Brown nailed it. MacPad it will be. And I think something like a MacPad would work, but it would I would say it would be iOS based. And they'll probably bring out an iOS that is capable of doing multi-process better. It's hard to say. It may end up just being a complete dud like Windows SE, or what was the other complete dud that they tried to do? Crap. Paul can't remember anything. Because a lot of the time developers are already having a hard enough time dealing with the fact that many times they're doing, say, an iOS version, an Android version. They don't want to have to now do another version. So even if they can get the technical capabilities going on the machine, the developer support will probably be rather lax. I'm just going to run this for a little bit, and then we will shut it down and see if it, as in we'll shut the valley test down, and we'll see how it behaves. Yeah, exactly, Billy. It's just, it's hard enough getting the performance you want out of the current top-of-the-line Intel and AMD systems. There's always someone who wants more, and you're not gonna... It doesn't matter how parallel you make a lot of these systems either. You can put, 100 ARMs in parallel, unless the problem that they're trying to solve is massively parallel, or embarrassingly parallel, as we say, then having 100 of them isn't going to do much. ME was misunderstood. Oh. Yeah, ME shouldn't have happened. Vista shouldn't have happened. '98 SE was a nice one at least. And XP Service Pack 3 was pretty good. Greater reliance on GPU and ML cores. Yeah, I mean, that's fine if your applications can make use of it. And I guess this is what I was sort of thinking, is that if they are going to put ARM... No, we just dropped dead, folks. We have not solved the problem. Ah, crud. It was not that. Ah, very interesting. I think I may have to take a break, get myself a cup of coffee, go do some other business for the day, and I might have to leave this until tonight. I have a horrible feeling the way this is going that we actually have something like a defective PCH or defective CPU physically somewhere. I'll put it through the ultrasonic, but I have a feeling that it's going to do the same afterwards. This is starting to feel a little bit too much like there's a fatigue crack, or there's a crack or something going on in the board or on the CPU. Yeah, good job, Corey. You induced it. Well done. Yep. 0.7 amp. That would be charge current, yes. So I can just pull it out and we'll see. Yeah, that was charge current. No, I checked, unfortunately. That's why I took it off, Greg, to have a look, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe there's something sitting hidden under the heatsink, but not in this case. Try without the Wi-Fi card. Yeah, that's worth a shot, considering that was the one common element between the two. I keep meaning to actually look under the Wi-Fi card, because sometimes you do get them and they have a good bunch of crap under them. I mean, they're fairly tolerant chaps, but yeah, this one, unfortunately, is already looking pretty damn pristine. Yeah. Yep. A lot of them that I get coming in, yeah, they're all chewed out and corroded under here, but they keep soldering on. There is a bit of green there, actually. Wait. There's that. Not the electronics, but the contacts. There's that. Okay, time to look at the contacts there. That is a pretty unusual place to get corrosion. And let's see. Come on up. Damn it, I can't get the angle I want. Okay, that's just downright weird, because nothing visible in there. What pin were you on? You're on a data pin. Second... You're the second pin. Let's see what pin that was exhibiting that corrosion there, and that is Wi-Fi event L. It's very unlikely that Wi-Fi event L could do anything like that. I think it's a SA MOSFET. What's SA? Certainly little chunks of rock and whatnot around. But that's a pretty damn weird place for a spot of corrosion to appear. And not actually have anything indicating on the outside. That's just odd. Wish I could get the better angle at it. Let's try another 10-minute run. It's always a problem with these kind of faults, is the fact that you have to basically try and prove the non-existence of the fault through just hoping and waiting. It's not a good type of fault to have to deal with if you're trying to get jobs out in a hurry. It chews up a lot of workbench space and a lot of time, and you're basically just trying to incrementally reduce your statistical odds of it happening just by the fact that it hasn't happened yet. Arnold, we tried, yeah, we have tried. It does do it without the battery. And we've tried a different battery too. Corey, it crashed pretty quickly a few other times, like just straight away, so the time factor is actually a little unpredictable. Jesus, Jason, that's a kind of a crazy mix you got there for your coffee. Sorry, I shouldn't say that J word. Um, Bad habits. Not that it was ever a habit of mine in the first place. Sometimes it just pops out. Spontaneous emission of inappropriate words. Anyway, yeah, my coffee is usually the stovetop mocha pot. It's using something like Victoria Oro with shaken up cream and a little bit of sugar. Yeah. So we've got a fully charged pack. I mean, certainly there was something weird about that 3v3 sus switch. It was definitely, yeah, we definitely had a bit of a smoke venting around that. So we have to keep that in mind just in case there's something else we're missing. Okay, for now the clock says 10:01 on there. Not that it's going to help us because when it goes out, we're not going to know what the real time is. The real time is, crikey, 2 o'clock already in the afternoon. And it just died. Alright. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to get coffee. Sit down, have a think. This is one of those sort of jobs where if you continuously just keep focusing on it, focusing on it, focusing on it, and don't step away, then you'll almost always not solve it. It's the sort of job where you need to just step away for a bit, come back with a fresh set of eyes, and have another quick look over it, and you might spot it a lot quicker. But right now, we're too immersed in it, so yeah. Oh well. Computers, St. Luke. Well, enjoy fixing them because now I'm going. So, alright, we're going to leave it at that. And when I come back, I'll try and start the stream up again. Can't guarantee it. But if I do come up with a solution, I will put it into the comments below. And if you have any ideas what you might think I should try, stick it in the comments below. There's enough information in this video that you should be able to, not have to ask me too many more things. So, I'll catch you all later. You all take care. I'll see you next time.